A very good morning to you, and thank you very much for joining us on Citizen Extra. My name is Lillian Muli. We continue with our coverage of the political party primaries, and our team of reporters is stationed across the country in different counties as we continue with our coverage of the nominations. Sam Gituku is on standby, coming to us from Migori. We'll also be talking to Francis Gashuri, who will be talking to us from Kisumu County, and also on standby from Siaya is Hassan Mugambi. That's our team of reporters. You know, some of our reporters, we will also be talking to other reporters that are stationed in different parts of the country as we continue with our extensive coverage of the political party primaries. With me in studio this morning as we talk matters party primaries is John Kagushia, I beg your pardon, who is a governance expert, and also with us this morning in studio is Stephen Mogaka, a constitutional lawyer and also a parliamentary aspirant, South Mugirango. We will be crossing over now to Sam Gituku, who is in Migori. Sam, a very good morning to you. How did the nominations start off from your end? What can you tell us as of this hour?
Good morning, Lillian. And yes, the day has begun here in Migori, the second day of the nomination exercise, but it is the day for the results. It has been a long wait since last night when the polls closed until this morning. As early as 7 o'clock, there was no single result released in regards to the governor's seat, the senator's seat, and the woman representative. But now things have changed. So far, we have received results from 3 constituencies of Rongo, Kuria East, and Kuria West, in which we've seen, in the race of governorship, we've seen the incumbent leading by a margin of 18,000, because so far he has about 50,600 votes from the 3 constituencies, followed by Ochilo Ayako, the former minister, who now has 32,600 votes. And also in the woman representative seat, we so far have Janita Gatti leading, of course, with a margin. And then for the senator seat, we have a gentleman by the name Ben Oluoch leading with more than 40,000 votes from the 3 constituencies. But also it has been a very eventful morning here. We have seen a lot of chaos from the pictures that we got in the morning. We've seen some of the aspirants, that is of course Obado, the governor, and Ochilo Ayako, the aspirant. They had some exchange here in the morning of what they were interrogating the poll officials here, because they were saying that they have been delayed so much, the results are not forthcoming. They were saying that it has been a long delay, an undue delay, but now there have also been accusations and counter-accusations from both camps, that is the camp of Obado and that of Ochilo Ayako. They are saying that, for instance, Ochilo Ayako saying that there is a plot to rig the election, and then of course saying the same, but essentially what we saw in the morning was an agitation by the aspirants against the poll officials here, telling them that they have been waiting for so long. They didn't feel that they should get an opportunity. They should be given such kind of time to wait so long for results of whose the result, the polling exercise closed last evening. But also something else that we witnessed during the night hours, Lillian, is that there was a scuffle at a nearby institution where a returning officer from the constituency of Awendo was arrested and over claims that he was trying to amend the results of that area. For instance, we spoke to the governor. He was saying that he had received about 9,000 from that constituency, but that had been reduced to 2,000, and the balance had been given to his opponent, Ochilo Ayako. But of course, these are allegations that we have not so far gotten an opportunity to establish whether they are true or not. But what we understand is that matter is already being handled by the police, because now that returning officer has been taken into custody and investigations are on. But so far at the tallying center where we are, coming back to where we are, the situation is that the governor, the incumbent governor, Obado, is still here waiting for the results. Ochilo Ayako is represented by some of his agents who are here getting to listen to the results as they stream in, because it has been a very high-spirited campaign for both camps getting to maneuver each other. But of course now the deciding vote, the deciding voice will be what the voters have decided in this result. So very soon we'll be getting to listen to excuse me, to the county returning officer by the name Samson Olala, who is here. We understand that he will be getting an opportunity to announce the results. But also, currently, the noise from the background, I understand that one of the other aspirants, Osilo Ayako, is on his way coming here. So, yes, from your screen, you can see that Osilo Ayako is making a call on phone. The image may not be so clear because of the light, but the situation is that he is here so as also to witness the results being released. So far, and as I said, we have received results from the 3 constituencies showing Okoto Bado in the lead, but the Migori County has a total of 8 constituencies, and from 597 polling centers, we'll be expecting to hear the results from those sites streaming in. So the 5 constituencies are still important, even though Okoto Bado is leading with about 18,000. Those constituencies will be very instrumental in deciding who becomes the flag bearer for that position of ODM, the position for women representative, the position for the senatorship. But that is something that we keep vigil here, or rather we continue to monitor here the results as they come from this side of the county returning officers. But for now, I think we hand back to you so that we can continue to monitor the situation here, but we'll be here to bring you the latest as soon as we get it. And
it's Lillian, actually, Gituku, but all the same, many thanks. Gituku is coming to us from Migori County. It is the second day of the exercise, and he's talking of a sluggish start there. There's still no results as of this hour. He also talked about chaos, exchanges between a section of the aspirants over the delay in relaying results. Migori County has 8 constituencies, and as results trickle in constituency by constituency, we will be relaying them to you as and when we get them. But before that, let's cross over to Kisumu County, where Francis Kashuri is on standby, and see how the day has started off there.
Lillian, very good morning to you. I wish I could know how to pass to you greetings in the local language, but I'm still learning. Anyway, be it as it may, voting underway here in Kisumu County, county number 042. And the polling has been on since around 9 a.m. There was a bit of a delay because the polling stations were supposed to open at about 6 a.m., but the slow pace in distribution of the ballot materials took a bit of time. However, the polling is underway in across the county in all the polling stations, and the ballot materials were kept for safe custody at the Kisumu Central Police Division offices, and that is where they were distributed from to all the polling stations, beginning with the farthest polling stations and then lastly the polling stations that are nearby were the last ones to receive the ballot materials. That means the Milimani Market Ward polling stations were the last to receive the polling materials, and that's where we are. We are at the Jomo Kenyatta ground right here in the heart of the city of Kisumu, and as you can see, the queues are very long, and the eager members of the Orange Democratic Movement have been queuing since 6 a.m. The pace of voting is a bit slow because of the verification of the people who are participating, their names being looked for in the register that was provided by the party. However, the concerns that you see here, Lillian, are those of people who turned up to vote, but their names are not on the voter register. Basically because the voter register is not yet updated. Remember, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, is still cleaning up the voter register and incorporating the people who are registered as voters this year during the second mass voter registration drive. And IEBC is on record asking political parties not to use their register because it is not yet updated, and the political parties to use their membership registers. However, that has not happened, and that's why you see the concerns that are being raised by some of the eager people who came to vote here, that they have their national identity cards as they were told by various aspirants who are eyeing for various elective seats. But when they get here, and to very many other polling stations that we've been able to go to this morning, they are finding their names missing on that register, and that's why you see a bit of unrest here. However, the ODM Secretary, National Elections Board Secretary, Dr. Bob Arunga, is in town, and those are some of the concerns that the aspirants are taking to him, that their supporters are missing on the registers that have been provided by the party. So to try and find a solution where maybe because this is an ODM stronghold, without any doubt, then those people who turn up to vote, as long as they have their national identity cards, probably they'd be allowed to participate in these nominations. And there are three main contestants for the gubernatorial seat. That is the incumbent Jack Ranguma, Senator Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, and also Dr. Hezron Makobewa. Those are part of the 7 aspirants who are eyeing the governor's ticket here in Kisumu County. There are also 7 parliamentary seats, and the tickets are up for grabs. And Lillian, let me try and see whether we can be able to get closer and closer to the main table where voting is going on, because that's the center of action basically, because some of the people who are missing on the register are raising their voices towards the polling officers, and the situation, although a little calm for now, some of them getting jittery because they are arguing that they had gotten permission from their bosses to come and participate in these nominations, then they can go. Let me sample some views here from some of the people who are right here. Tell us, why is the process so slow? And please look at the camera.
Or you are trying to ask?
I'm saying the slow pace of voting. What are the polling officials telling you in terms of why the queue is not moving as fast as possible?
The queue is not moving fast as possible because they were trying to say that they have got 2 registers. There is the original register that was used on 2013, and therefore there are some other people who registered late. So those who registered late, their names could not be found in the original register of the IBC. They have got the ODM register. So it is one of the cardinal stumbling blocks that is like of bringing about squabbles there. Yes.
Thank you very much. And Lillian, the same concerns that I was telling you that are being raised by a majority of the people who are participating in the polling here. Hopefully, the ODM Elections Board will be able to intervene and find a solution to these stalemates so that the queues can move a little faster. We now expect to move to where the main aspirants will be casting their ballots. I'm told Jack Ranguma, the governor, will be voting in Kobura. Professor Anyang' Nyong'o will be voting in Seme. And so we will be moving towards those directions to see how they vote and what are their initial reactions towards the process that is ongoing. Back to you in the studio.
Many thanks for that. That is Francis Gashuri, who is coming to us from Kisumu. He says that polling started a little bit late, that is at 9 a.m. and of course he's talked about the issue of the voter register concerns there once again, as has been replicated in other parts of the country. The IBC is on record having said that, or having asked political parties not to use their register as it is not updated, but we find voters still finding themselves in situations where their names are not registered. We will be going back to Francis Gashuri just to keep a tab on what is happening from his end. We're now crossing over to Kiambu, where Patrick Igunza is on standby, and as you are aware, the most hotly contested seat in the Kiambu primaries is that of Governor incumbent William Kabogo, who is of course facing it off with Ferdinand Waitito, and want to hear from of course Patrick Igunza's end what exactly is happening there. You do remember that on Friday the nomination exercise was cancelled from Kiambu, as was the case in other parts of the country, the Jubilee nominations. Let's listen in from Patrick Igunza and hear what's happening on that end.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Lillian Muli. We are coming to you live from Kiambu County and precisely the Kiringiti polling center. It's here that earlier on had indicated to Fred Indimuli that voting had not started. But the good news is that that process has already begun. Back there is the center in which the voting process is taking place, albeit too slow. The young men and women, the old people here too, having woken up very early in the morning to ensure that they do exercise their democratic right. But most of them are complaining that it is taking too long. Even then, they've said they will be waiting to ensure that they do cast their ballot. As I had indicated earlier on, is that Kiambu County is one of the highly contested counties, especially for the Jubilee Party. Remember, this is a county that did deliver close to 95% of its vote to President Kenyatta in the 2013 general election. And the question is, how will that performance be this time round? It is a highly contested race from the MCS level all the way to the gubernatorial positions. When we talk about governors, we have the incumbent, the flamboyant, flamboyant governor, William Kabogo, battling it out with the former Embakasi member of parliament and now the representative of Kabete constituency, that is none other than Ferdinand Waititu. And we also have the senatorial race, which will be seeing the incumbent Kimani Wamatangi battling it out with other political veterans, including Nyanja. We will be delving deeper into those details in not so long a time. But right now, I can see the incumbent, that is Governor William Kabogo, is here. And we can hear some gunshots or so, but everything is okay. Bwana Governor, if you may just join me, please, we can have a word with you. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. So far, how do you find the voting process?
So far, quite cool. Everything else is okay. It's running smooth, and we hope it will be this way the whole day. Yes.
Okay.
People to exercise their right.
Their right.
To vote their candidate.
Are you confident?
I'm confident, yes, as always. Yes.
Okay, yesterday we were given to understand there was some scuffle
there was
somewhere.
Not a scuffle. We were called and told that Ferdinand Waititu is in Kiambu High School with officials of the party, and we found him with 7 ROs and the coordinator of the party locked up in a room with stamps and ballot papers all over. And we reported to the police, and the police came, arrested him, and they dealt with it, and we left it with the police. Yes.
Okay, and
so
so
what they are spreading now is propaganda. Unajua mwivi akishikwa akiiba town anasemanga huyo sikeni ni huyo, ili hali wewe ndio umekamatwa.
So una believe kulikuwa,
you want to check, go to the police, the report was made there. Yes.
Una
and
believe,
it's all over social media anyway. Pictures speak 1,000 words. What they tried on Friday, they succeeded. But today, they will not succeed. Yes.
Okay. And we will definitely be talking to him so that he can tell us his side of the story. But
you can talk to him, I have no problem.
Okay.
But we are confident what we are doing is fine.
Okay. But generally, you are so satisfied with the way things are running?
Yes. So far, so good.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. That's the incumbent governor for Kiambu County, none other than William Kabogo. As I was indicating, we do have quite a number of areas where competition is expected to be stiff. For instance, Gatundu South, where we have the incumbent Moses Kuria battling it out with Joyce Wanjiku Ngugi, Kungu Kibavi, and Juguna Kenju. Another heated area will be Gatundu North, where we will see the former broadcaster and Wanjiku Kibe battling it out with Francis Kigonjenga, who's the sitting MP, and also Vincent Gishiru Gaido and Patrick Karigi. We also have in the senatorial seat Wamatangi, who is the incumbent and will be battling it out with people like Nyanja, who actually is a veteran politician. When it comes to Kiambu constituency, that's Kiambu Township, we will have the incumbent June Jomo battling it out with another aspirant by the name Jenga Wamebati. So those are some of the details that we've just gotten so far here. We are being told that the exercise is ongoing. The only challenge that they are facing here is the slow pace at which the electorates are being given that opportunity to exercise their democratic right. But the officials here have tried to be clever enough, and they have split this particular polling center into 3 streams so that you can have more than one person voting at the same time. We will be touring other parts of this county just to see how this particular primaries rather are going on, and we will keep you posted. Lillian Muli, back to you.
That is Patrick Igunza, who is coming to us from Kiambu County, and we will remain with developments there. In news just in, supporters of incumbent Taita Taveta Governor John Mrutu have stormed Orange House, this after the incumbent lost to Thomas Mwadegu in the ODM nominations. We'll be getting more details on that. Mrutu's supporters there protesting the results and claiming that there was rigging that was involved. We'll be getting bring more developments on that in the course of this news bulletin. We're now crossing over to Siaya, where Hassan Mugambi is on standby. Siaya is marked a political hotspot in these nominations, especially in areas perceived to be ODM zones. Hassan, what can you tell us about the exercise?
Well, thank you very much, Lillian. The exercise is yet to begin here, despite the arrival of the ballot papers and ballot boxes that we earlier on saw being dispatched to different the constituencies around this place and the different polling centers across Siaya County. But then again, right now we are in one of the polling centers, actually one of the biggest polling centers around Siaya town, and as you can see, nothing has started. The exercise is yet to begin. We are seeking to find out why it has not begun despite the dispatchment of the ballot materials from different quarters. And I am going to just walk around this particular polling center and speak to the members of the public who have turned out here. As you can see, though they have not turned out in large numbers as we expected, as they were yesterday, for instance, because the exercise was supposed to be taking place yesterday. So the members of the public here and voters, and of course, came up in their numbers. But then again, the exercise was cancelled and pushed forward to today, just hours into them lining up the classrooms across this institute. We are in the Barack Obama University College, a constituent college of Maseno University. And yes, indeed, the exercise has not yet begun, and we're just hoping that maybe the ballot papers will be here in good time so that it can actually begin. And we'll just be speaking to some of the members of the public who actually made their way here, and they will be telling us what exactly is happening, because they have been sitting here, some of them since 5 o'clock in the morning, and they are wondering what exactly is going on. And now I'm going to speak to one of them. Jambo.
Kwa sana.
Umekuwa hapa kutoka saa ngapi?
Umekuwa hapa kutoka 5:30.
Na mumeelezwa ni kwa nini shughuli hii ya uchaguzi bado haijaanza?
Sasa kwanza jana tuliambiwa leo hii hiyo mambo ya kura tutaanza by saa 12, lakini tumekuwa hapa saa hatujajua ni nini kinaendelea kwa sasa hivi.
And some of them that are here are actually wearing tags signifying that they are maybe agents of particular candidates in this particular nomination exercise. And they'll just be telling us what exactly is happening.
Okay. We are here exactly at around 5:30 in the morning, being one of the agents of the aspirants here. So we have to reach here early. So up to now is around 10. Around 10 we have not seen ballot boxes arriving. But we are told they are around. We don't know, because we are now disclosed in this area. So we don't know. We are still waiting. Yeah.
What form of communication? Is there an official communication that has come around from maybe the elections board telling you people why it has not started?
Okay, there's aspirants coming in and out telling us that the ballot boxes are around, the police, I don't know which places. So we are still waiting. We are not aware of the place. We can't tell. Yeah.
Well, that is the feeling of the people around here in Siaya County. Uncertainty is rocking them, because they turned out since 5 o'clock in the morning, and up until now voting has not yet started. We're talking about close to 6 hours later, voting has not yet started, despite the fact that we saw the dispatchment of the materials from the Siaya Township Police Station, as well as the deployment of contingents of police officers that were being we were being told that they will be coming in the different polling stations across this particular county, and in each polling station we'll have at least 2 members of the National Police Service just guarding the whole exercise. That has not yet started. As to what time it will, it is actually something to wait and see, because anxiety is building up, and we I'm not sure what is going to happen next. So because we saw the the ballot materials being dispatched, but then again they are not yet here. Maybe they are the formula of the delivery from in the different places is the different thing that they are going to be looking at, as well as the kind of formula they have used to just bring the materials here in these particular places. Over to you now, Lillian.
Many thanks for that. That is Hassan Mugambi coming to us from Siaya. He tells us of a 6-hour delay as regards casting of the ballot. And, of course, a lot of people, not too many people have turned up. The turnout not as high as was expected. We will be going back to Hassan to find out if indeed voting has begun there. Before that, once again, just taking you back to news we had brought you earlier on protests at Orange House, where supporters of incumbent Taita Taveta Governor John Murutu have stormed Orange House, reportedly protesting his loss to Thomas Madegu in the ODM nominations. Those are the pictures we're getting from the Orange House as at this hour, and those are said to be supporters of incumbent Taita Taveta Governor John Murutu. That's what we're getting from the Orange House. We're now crossing over to Kitui County, where the Wiper Party primaries in Kitui remain an uphill task for Senator David Musila, who has sworn to unseat the incumbent Dr. Julius Malombe. Let's go over to Wahiga Mora. We know that results started trickling in as from last night. And we want to listen into what is happening on that end, Wahiga.
Thank you so much, Lillian. I wish I was telling you that results have been trickling in, and I wish I was able to give you an update as well in regards to those results, but unfortunately they have not been trickling in. We have been camped here at the Kitui Multipurpose Development Training Institute since we spoke with Auntie Guta last night during the 9 p.m. news, and we actually do not have any results. We've been talking to the National Elections Board, we've been talking to the county coordinators as well, just to get any results that we can get to put on air, but unfortunately up until now we do not have any results. And for that reason, earlier today, and actually if we were having this conversation about 10 minutes ago, you would have noticed behind me a whole group of voters, supporters of aspirants who had gathered here asking questions like, what's going on, how come we do not have those results? But what happened is that a special unit of the police, actually they look like anti-riot police, because they even had tear gas canisters. They made their way here, they cleared them from the gate. And if my cameraman can just get their shot here, this is a group of supporters of aspirants. They are voters, and they are saying, you know what, we want to come and monitor the process here. We want to ensure that the process is free and fair, and at the moment we are a bit concerned with what is happening inside the Development Training Institute. So that is what they are doing here. Those are some of their concerns. The police have told them to go home because their agents are already inside, but they are still insisting that they want to be here, that they want to follow the process. And to be quite honest, over 12 hours since voting should have ended across the county with no results received, it can be a bit worrying. Of course, the message are generally across being, let's keep peace, let's wait for the National Elections Board to give the way forward. But the National Elections Board of Wiper does need to act, show leadership, and of course they are waiting outside here to hear what is happening in regards to that. Now earlier on, we had gone to the Central Primary School, which was a key voting center in Kitui Town, Kitui Central, and we should be showing you some of those images on the screen. A few challenges have happened this morning, and what we are being told is that at 6 a.m. the returning officer arrived at the grounds, and he was expected to collect the polling materials and make his way here where that information can then be verified. But he's now said to have disappeared, and his phone is even off. So that material, as we last checked about an hour ago, is still on the grounds, guarded by the police. And unfortunately, there's no direction on how that material will get here and be verified. Of course, that's one of the challenges that we are experiencing in Kitui County. In addition, we are told that further out there in one of the sub-counties, the sub-county officer has refused to give information out or give results out, and is saying that there was a challenge in one of the wards, and thus he cannot give out that information. Fair enough. his concerns are valid, but what some of the aspirants are asking is, how long will we have to wait? Is there any way the National Elections Board can give direction, even if there were some wards that experienced challenges? What is the way forward? How long shall we wait? If the results are trickling in the afternoon, will the aspirants feel that the process was free and fair? Will they be worried about tampering and on those sorts of issues as well? So those are some of the major concerns that we are having here right now. Of course, the group here are very peaceful, asking, our right as voters to we have rights as voters to hear what's happening, to follow what's happening on the ground, and they need answers, and that is what is happening here. So Lillian, I know you asked me about results. You asked me about that gubernatorial battle between incumbent Dr. Julius Malombe and Senator David Musila. Unfortunately, as of now, I'm still not able to give you results, but when I can, and I will convey those to you immediately. But for now, back to you, Lillian Muli in studio.
And of course, it is a scenario that is being replicated in various counties across the country where nominations have been held or are currently being held. The delays in relaying of results, and indeed the delays in the casting of ballots by voters. That is Waihiga Maura coming to us from Kitui County. Our reporters are stationed in various parts of the country. We understand in Kiambu the Jubilee nomination exercise is yet to start, and that is at least what we heard from Patrick Igunza. In Kisumu, the exercise started late. Francis Kashuri updated us of the exercise starting as at about 9 a.m. this morning. We also know from Siaya, from Hassan Bugambi, that the ODM primaries are yet to start as well. So let's go back now to Sam Gituku, who I had spoken to earlier this morning. Sam is in Migori, and he we'll be speaking to Ochilo Ayako very shortly. When we had earlier spoken to Sam, he had told us of a sluggish start. Let's listen into that conversation.
Is holding the whole process hostage. It's not a place that is conducive for good dialogue. We have done our bit insofar as the legal process is concerned, so we are going to do our politics.
First of all, let's understand what that order means and where you got it from.
Normally when you think that a nomination process, an election process is not fair, you approach the appeals tribunal, and when you approach the appeals tribunal, they grant you the orders that you want, depending on how persuasive you are. So in the morning, when we noticed that the returning officer was not doing what he's supposed to do, we took the initiative of approaching the appeals tribunal, and after doing that, we were granted the orders that the results that were being announced were an nullity.
But looking at the results that so far you have seen, it shows that your opponent, Okoth Obado, is leading with 50,000 from 3 constituencies, and you have 32,000. Why can't you allow that process to proceed and see who wins? Why do you think it's unfair?
The law allows you, or the regulations allow you, not to wait for the results. It allows you to handle that process before you sit back and listen to an analysis. I want to give you the situation that we have. We do not have an arrow from Uriri. We do not have an arrow from Suna West. We have results or alleged results from Kuria, who started voting at 5 o'clock. When they started voting at 5 o'clock, there is a claim that between 5 o'clock and the time they voted, they were able to access 20,000 people. You can't get such people at night. This is Africa. It's the same place we know. Nights are very dangerous places. You can't even get people to vote at night. So in the absence of the result from Uriri, that of Suna West, and the glaring inaccuracies that we are seeing in the result from Kuria, there is no result worth waiting. We can't rely on Awendo, we can't rely on Rongo, we can't rely on Nyatike and those others. We are talking about every vote matters and every vote counts.
Where are those returning officers that you're saying are not here?
Well, I'm told that one was arrested yesterday. The police could be best placed to answer that. I am told that one in Suna West disappeared. Then I'm told that one from Awendo got arrested in the night by the governor's bodyguards. Not have results. What is being announced?
The orders sought, are they stopping only a specific category or the entire process?
No, they are talking about the entire process, because when you are talking about the accuracy of votes in Uriri, you are talking about everybody's vote in Uriri. When you are talking about the accuracy of votes in Suna West, you are talking about everybody's vote. When you are talking about the votes in Kuria, it covers everybody. So the entire process is an analysis. Well, I think there are cases that can be argued insofar as Rongo, Awendo, and Nyatiki are concerned. But when those processes are contributing to the sum total of the county-wide seats, they are an analysis.
There's a new returning officer called Samuel Olala, whereby yesterday we knew of Tom Otike. What's your comment on that?
Those are some of the anomalies that we are noticing. There is a returning officer called Samuel Olala, who has no orientation whatsoever about what is going on here.
But then again, just to correct you, Otike is the chairperson of the county elections committee, not a returning officer.
I will tell you that the common trend, the precedent, the tradition is that all chairpersons of county boards are returning officers without exception. Why is there an exception in this one? Go to Homa Bay, that is the case. Go to Busia, that was the case, and in all other cases. Why is it an exception here?
Okay. Right.
Maybe from different perspectives.
Yes, we were able to serve the order. What you need to do to serve an order is just to place it in front of the returning officer. If he chooses to ignore it, that's his business. We serve the order.
Just before you go, then what does it mean? When do you repeat the process? When do you continue the process?
We don't repeat. We are going to do the higher legal bit of it. The returning officer is now aware that such an order is there. The process is an analysis. We are going to stop the process, and all of these lovely citizens of Migori who are complaining perhaps will benefit from our order. So
I'm asking, how then does ODM pick candidates in Migori County?
ODM and political parties are constitutional entities. It is written in the Constitution that Kenya shall be a multi-party state. In other words, political parties are institutions of governance, the first foundation of democracy. They must conduct themselves democratically, and that supersedes hand-picking or a botched or a process that does not measure up to the ideals of democracy. ODM should be able to sort out that one as quickly as ODM can.
But we wanted to know the orders, were they processed in anticipation, or have they been processed this morning, because it's barely 10?
They were processed this morning. They were not processed in anticipation. We moved the tribunal at about 8 o'clock and obtained the order thereafter. In any event, members of the tribunal were also seated in here. I'm sure you saw them if you are here in the morning.
Tribunal of the ODM?
Yes.
All right. Lilian, as you heard, that has been the aspirant for governorship, Ochilo Ayako, indicating that he has successfully gotten orders to stop this process from the appeals tribunal of the Orange Democratic Movement. Of course, this is a step that now puts the process here in disarray, because the process of counting votes was already, or rather of tallying votes was already going into the 4th constituency. So far we had 3 constituencies announced, where it was showing that the incumbent Governor Okoth Obado was leading, but now Ochilo Ayako's move now tilts everything, because now they have according to the orders, as Ochilo says, is that now the county returning officer is bound to stop the process, but we'll wait to hear from him as well to see what he's going to do, because this is a process that he was ready to oversee to the end, to the logical conclusion, to see who wins for what seat in the ODM. But this, we will proceed on to talk to the incumbent governor, Okoth Obado, and also to talk to the county returning officer of ODM to hear what they have to say about this and how this now turns the situation of Migori County nominations in ODM. Lillian.
That is Sam Kituku coming to us from Migori County, and a new development there where Migori gubernatorial aspirant Ochilo Ayako has obtained a court order to stop the announcement of results in Migori County. He's pointing an accusing finger at Governor Okoth Obado, that's the incumbent Governor Okoth Obado, accusing him of election malpractice. I'll be talking to my guests very shortly on what the implications of this are, and that is John Kagushia, who's a governance expert, as well as Stephen Mogaka, who's a constitutional lawyer and West Mugirango parliamentary aspirant. But before I engage you gentlemen, in news just in, 27 people have died following a grisly road accident on the Mombasa-Nairobi highway. According to Kibwezi OCPD Leonard Kimayo, the accident happened at Kambu area at 12:30 a.m. Police further said a passenger service vehicle bus heading to the coastal city collided head-on with an oil tanker. Those injured are being treated at Makindu and Kibwezi Hospital. That is news just in, and we will bring you more developments on that story as and when we get them. In news just in from Migori, gubernatorial aspirant Ochilo Ayako has obtained a court order, as earlier mentioned, to stop the announcement of results in Migori County. John, I'll begin with you. We're seeing a lot of interference and disruptions, from postponements to delays in relaying of results, and now court orders and petitions. How is this likely to change developments there in Migori?
Thank you very much, Lillian. To start with, maybe I would just want to make a correction. You had pointed out earlier on that in Kiambu County voting had not started, but actually voting started at around 7 a.m. So I think in that area the voting is going on, just as a point to note. Then I agree with Ochilo Ayako when he says that political parties are constitutional institutions. They are institutions of governance. It is true. But again, what the orders he is referring to would actually be prejudicial, because you cannot stop a process which is ongoing. The person conducting this, or the body conducting this process, is the ODM political party. And when it is conducting this process, you cannot have the dispute resolution tribunal stopping the process when it is ongoing. That would be illegal. And what would be necessary is to allow the process to go up to the end. And should Ochilo Ayako have any valid complaints, then those complaints need to be presented to the tribunal. And when he seeks those orders to stop the process which is ongoing, especially when he sees that he's losing in certain areas, and the political party again accepts to grant those kind of orders, it portrays the party as skewed and inclined towards a certain candidate. Remember, Lillian, in about 2 weeks ago, we had violence in the same area when the political bigwigs had gone accompanying Ochilo Ayako to campaign for him. Remember, the person who was there was none other than a deputy leader of ODM. When he went there, and then he was blocked and kind of chased away by the supporters of the sitting governor Obado. So, with that kind of a scenario happening earlier on, making us feel like the party has a preferred candidate, and now seeing this kind of interference with the process when it is actually ongoing, and in fact when we are all waiting for the results, then we are told no, there are no results, we have stopped this process. Lillian, I think that really would be prejudicial, it would be unfair, it is injustice, and I think they would need to allow the process to continue. When I look at again Siaya, you see the process was postponed from yesterday, and by the way, the issue that was quoted as the reason why the elections were, or the primaries were put today, was security reasons. And of course, we had just to take that as a reason that was given by Philip Etale, the communication director of ODM. But for sure, we don't know whether that was the reason. And when you quote security reasons as the reason why you are putting the primaries to the following day, what happens is that members of public, in a way, they start feeling like they are not secure even when they come the following day to vote. And so you see a situation whereby today,
people who had actually come out yesterday to vote are not there. They have not come. They have a very low turnout. And again, you know, these are part of the irregularities we are talking about. And these are some of the things that the party need to address. And if really the reason why this election was put today was because of security reasons, and we have seen they have beefed up security there. We have seen GSU, we have seen other security apparatus there on the ground. Then why can't we start, or why are we not starting this nomination process? And now it is actually going 10:15, and we have not yet started. So you realize that there could be something else behind. And Siaya County is the home county of the head of ODM, Honorable Raila Odinga. And in the past, of course, this county has had leaders who are mainly affiliated in one way or another to the party leader. And it would be good if he could allow this process to continue well without perception of any kind of delays or postponement, so that then what comes out there is seen to be something which is supported by all the people there. Remember, in 2013, we had Oburu Odinga, who was in a very tight race in Siaya County with William Oduol, a businessman. And when William Oduol again was defeating or was seen to be getting ahead of Oburu Odinga, again, remember what happened. The process was stopped, and the party actually said there was a dispute between the two of them. And instead of then taking number 1 and number 2, they went again and took a person who was actually number 4 and brought him and said this is a compromise candidate, so that then we remove Oburu, and then we also get a reason to get rid of William Oduol, who was not seen to be towing the party line. And you look at that scenario, and then you look at the scenario again in Migori, where Obado was actually, one would say, not preferred last time, and then was not given the certificate. And he preferred then to go to PDP. And when he went to PDP, he actually won with a landslide. And
on the same, the recent development in Migori County as regards the court order, and tying this into yesterday's development as well, where the High Court ordered that the nomination deadline be extended by 5 days. I want to talk about these interferences by the court. You're a constitutional lawyer, Stephen. Is the court overstepping its mandate? We know that under the Elections Act there are provisions for dispute resolution. As Sam Gituku put it forward to Ochilo Ayako, should he not have waited for the process to be completed and then raised his concerns?
Thank you, Lillian. I have not cited the order, but hearing what Honorable Ochilo Ayako is saying, he has sought and obtained orders restraining the returning officer from announcing. I mean, the word is from announcing. It has not stopped the presiding officer from concluding their process. The only thing that they have been held for a while is from announcing. And I think there is a legitimate case warranting such an order, because if it's true that certain polling centers or certain presiding officers have gone missing, then really then the exercise of tallying has not been concluded to go to the next step of announcing. And I think Ochilo Ayako was within his rights in apprehending that the returning officer might have the results and purport to declare somebody as the nominee. So the law permits that when there is an apparent reason to believe that there is going to be a miscarriage of justice, you can be restrained. So we expect that the returning officer will continue searching for the results from the other polling stations. And once that is concluded, they will put a case to the tribunal saying we have all the results from the polling centers, and then the order restraining the announcing of the results will obviously then be lifted. So that
the legitimacy of these claims, though, seeing that as Sam Gituku reported there, the incumbent governor is currently taking a lead, at least in the constituencies where results have been counted.
Fine, he may be leading But, you know, as Ochilo Ayako said, every vote counts. You can be leading, but the other results are likely to, you know, to turn the tables. If we had a register that would demonstrate that the results from the centers that have not come in will not change or will not close the range with which the incumbent is leading, then the returning officer would be allowed to exercise his discretion and announce those results. But really, in the absence of all the results, truly there would be no result to be announced by the returning officer, and the best way is to continue tallying or really apply and indicate that they have been frustrated and therefore order for a repeat of the nomination exercise.
Lillian, when an order is issued to stop the announcement of the results, ideally means that you have stopped the process, because then what would be the need to do the tallying if the process to announce, or if the orders are already have been issued to stop the announcement. And I would like to differ with my senior colleague in the legal profession and say that the work of the dispute resolution tribunal is to resolve disputes, and it's not to run an election. We have an election board. If these orders, for example, are coming from the board, then the board would be right to stop the process and say we have nullified and we have now postponed this process, and it will be done again when then we can be able to hire returning officers whom we trust and who can be able to avail the results when they are required. Then remember again, Lillian, the person telling us that the ROs have disappeared, really, it is Ochilo Ayako, is an aspirant. So we have no way then of, you know, really certifying whether what Ochilo Ayako is telling us is true. He is also saying that the ROs have gone missing and their phones are off. Okay, of course you can expect that having had that smartphone since yesterday, it is possible it can go off because of charge issues. But again, what I think is this is not coming out well.
But having said that, you know, still on the dispute resolution, perhaps Ochilo Ayako was coming from the premise of the development from the High Court yesterday, and this development looking like it's now eating into the time set aside for political parties to resolve disputes arising from the nomination, and perhaps that's why he sought this option to go with the court order.
Really, that may not necessarily be a reason, because having added the time with 5 days means that we actually have now more opportunities to resolve any dispute that arising from this political process. For example, if the board running the elections and headed by Pareno in ODM feel that this process is flawed, what they need to do is to stop the process, and that process can be redone. And now we have days. It can be done tomorrow, it can be done the day after tomorrow, and that means that we have more means now of resolving this dispute, not just on the table, not just desk kind of dispute resolution. They can actually even go back to the ballot. But for now, you cannot have the board that is supposed to be dealing with the issue of the tribunal that is supposed to be dealing with the issue of resolution of the disputes, resolving disputes as they are occurring, as they are happening on the ground. That really doesn't even look logical at all. In fact, it is a board which is running the...
Stephen, if you will respond to that as we cross over to Baringo, where one of our reporters is on standby.
Yeah, thank you, Lillian. My learned junior may take solace, of course, and the viewer, that the nature of the orders that were given to Honorable Ayako are interim. They are just temporary orders, pending the hearing of all the parties, and once every person has been listened to, the tribunal will take a decision once it has the whole picture before it. But for now, I think there was a legitimate case to move the tribunal to order that the announcing of the results be suspended until Ochilo Ayako's allegations are looked into, and if they are found unmeritorious, of course the orders will be lifted and the announcement will be done.
I think this is turning it into a field of absurdity, because then you cannot have a process of resolving disputes going on as a process of voting is also going on, because then at what point are we hearing who, at what point then are we having these responses? These guys are in the field. Ochilo Ayako is not even in a situation emotionally, psychologically, even he's already tired. They're not able to go now and have a fair process of listening to their disputes.
And when we look at this disorganization, just very quickly, you know, like I said, the relaying of results, and indeed now all these, you know, petitions and court orders and what have you. Do political parties really have the capacity to run nominations?
Oh yes, they do. They do have the capacity, except that it is the competence that is lacking and will be built as time goes. Because it's a requirement in law that every political party establishes an internal dispute resolution mechanism. And the purpose of that is that when a claim is brought before such a tribunal, it has to be dealt with. Ochilo Ayako went to that dispute tribunal and explained himself that here is a returning officer wanting to make an announcement of results when other polling stations have not been have not brought in results. And I think it is only sensible, not even lawful. Even a layman would know that really a returning officer cannot make an announcement of results before you get all the results. And all they are saying is, okay, hold on, come and confirm whether what Ochilo Ayako is saying is true or not true. If it's true, then a proper decision will be made. If it is not true, then the RO will be allowed to announce the results, and there is no prejudice suffered by anybody.
You know, Lydia, we have a very interesting scenario this morning. Today in the morning, we had Homa Bay County, and you know what has happened? The sitting governor has been declared the winner with 46,000 votes, and the senator Otieno Kajwang Jr. has been announced or declared as the winner with 1,000 votes. And reason given by the returning officer here is that they were not able to receive the votes, or rather the casted votes and tallied votes from the other returning officers at the sub-county level. And now you see, we have a situation whereby we have Homa Bay, where we announced results which have not been properly tallied because they could not receive all them. Although, okay, of course, there is a problem here because you can't have the senator having 1,000 votes and the governor at the same time having 46,000 votes. Yet at the same time, within a span of 2 hours, you want to stop a process allegedly because you are not able to trace the arrows. Really, you see, it is not adding up. There's something else that is cooking here, which I think the party need to stop. And we are saying, because of this, the supporters are getting very agitated, and this is causing a lot of violence. And I'm saying, should we lose any other life out of these theatrics that we are witnessing now? I am saying the political parties, the returning officers, and the people who are giving and issuing these kind of orders need to take responsibility, because we can't have Kenyans in Siaya continue to lose life because of this kind of I mean, in Homa Bay and also in other areas like you know, Migori. You can't have this kind of loss of life and we take it normally. I think it is not right.
Okay, and we will be continuing with this conversation very shortly. Before that, we want to get an update on the Jubilee Party nominations in Baringo County. Wilkista Nyabwa is on standby there. Wilkista.
Good morning, Lillian. It might be a little difficult to hear me over the sound of celebration here in Baringo County. We are at the School of Government in Kabarnet, and this was the tallying center for Baringo Central. The results have just been announced, and I think you can tell who the winners are. They all have shiny ornaments around their necks, just showing who won for the different wards. And then just standing right next to me is David Kiplagat. David Kiplagat just secured the Jubilee ticket for Baringo Central, and this now meaning that he secured that ticket against the incumbent Sami Mwaita. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about what was your reaction to the elections so far, as well as your win at this moment.
Thank you very much. Like the people of Baringo Central, we've been waiting for the change. We've been that the people of Baringo Central were able to speak. And I want to thank the Jubilee leadership, because they gave us a free and fair process. They actually gave us the environment to elect our leaders, and I'm honored and I'm happy to the people of Baringo Central for giving me that opportunity to lead them. Of course, it was some few challenges, but all in all, I think we did well. We're happy. You can hear from what people are doing. They are ecstatic. People are happy. The voice of the people has been heard. You can even see from the margins. I think this is an idea that time, whose time has come. So what I want to call and I want to urge our fellow competitors is that I want to extend an olive branch and ask them to join me in the Jubilee, because we need to build our party. Because we had 5 competitors, all of them in Jubilee, and I'm urging all of them to come in, we join together so that we can build this party, because this is a party of the future. This is a party that we believe can bring development to our constituency and Baringo at large, because we've been lagging behind, but I believe with this party we will go places. And I want to thank the President, to thank the Deputy President for giving us that empowerment, for not imposing on us any leader, because the people themselves will choose the leaders they want. Thank you very much.
Now, it's never an easy task just clinching the ticket where there is an incumbent. Tell us a little bit about that, as well as your agenda going forward, preparing for the elections in August.
Oh yes, it was not easy. Defeating the incumbents, it's not easy. But I want to thank the people, because the people resolved that they needed change. So I just put the idea in them and told them together we can bring the change. They wanted the change, they wanted somebody who can become the flag bearer for that change. And I came in and I gave them that opportunity. And my ideas and the ideas matched, and we went together. So it was difficult, people were skeptic, but at the end of the day you see even the outcome. We were able to take more than twice what the incumbent got. So that means that it was resounding a victory on the path of change. So going forward, I'm still going to tell the people that we want to have development. Mine will be a participatory leadership, an all-inclusive leadership that starts from the people, not the other way around. The other people are starting from the top going down, but mine will be from the people. We want to participate, we want to have leadership that involves everybody. We have an agenda for the youth. A huge population of our constituency involves the youth. Our youth is about 70% of the population, and they're yearning for something, they're yearning for an idea, they're yearning for hope, that they can have a peaceful environment, that they can have a good livelihood, their means of living will go up, and we want to work together with them, and that really resounds very well with them. If you give them hope, the women, the groups, they also want hope, and I've told them, I talked to the old people, and I want to include everybody. Everybody is in this agenda. It's the agenda for bringing development, improving the livelihood of the common person, because for a long time the common person has been left. Decisions have been made from Nairobi and those who can reach the leadership. So the people are felt left behind. I have come in to fill the gap. I have come in to say, I am here, hold my hand, I will hold yours, together we can make Baringo Central great again. And that really goes very well with them. And I believe come August, even the margins we got today, we will even widen those margins in August, because we know where we're going, and we want to be the government right all the way to 2022 and beyond. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. If my cameraman can just pan, you can see he is flanked by other leaders who also secured victory today, who secured the Jubilee ticket, which means that they will be on the ballot in August. So it has been just a lot of celebrations here at the Tallying Center at the Kenya School of Government. However, it isn't just the incumbent, the MP, who has suffered an upset. We're seeing at this Tallying Center, we have also seen Stanley Kittis, who is challenging the incumbent Governor Benjamin Cheboy, also take an early lead, a significant lead. However, do remember that there are 6 sub-counties and that this is only a result from one sub-county, meaning the results from the other sub-counties are expected to stream in later in the day as tallying continues in some of the polling stations where voting started late, and therefore it has also affected tallying. But here the exercise has largely been peaceful. Even the results, when they were released, were accepted. Those who won celebrated, and those who did not win perhaps were a little disappointed, but it has largely been peaceful. We are now seeing voters and agents and officials just leaving the area for a moment, I guess, as they get their bearings before the tallying continues for the other sub-counties as well. And we will just be keeping an eye on that and on the results as they continue to stream in. Back to you, Lillian.
That's Wilkista Nyaba. Thank you very much, Wilkista, for that update. She's coming to us from Baringo County. She's in Baringo Central. And, of course, a lot of excitement and celebration there after aspirants were declared to have clinched their respective party tickets. We are now going back to Kisumu County, where Francis Gashuri is on standby. When we last spoke to him from that end, it was a slow start. We understand one of the gubernatorial aspirants is casting his ballot as we speak. Let's listen in to what Francis has for us.
Thank you very much, Lillian. Indeed, as I told you earlier, after what we saw at Jomo Kenyatta grounds in Kisumu town, we were moving around to see how the aspirants are also voting. And in the neighboring constituency known as Victoria Primary School polling station, I've bumped into one of the gubernatorial aspirants, Dr. Hezron Makobewa. He has arrived here and is just about to cast his ballot. And Lillian, as I told you earlier, it was a slow start, though very orderly. Very many of the ODM supporters making their way to the various polling stations to cast their ballot. The process is now a little faster than it was earlier on. I think now the polling officials have now gotten the real touch of it, and they are now moving a little faster than they were previously. And so let me show you quickly as Dr. Makobewa votes together with other people who are participating in this exercise. The turnout remains high right here in Kisumu County. And remember yesterday when we interviewed Dr. Makobewa, he was one of those aspirants who are concerned about some of the processes in terms of the structure of the polling. Now we will be trying to find out from him whether he's now satisfied with the polling process, as it were. And generally the turnout remains high. However, Lillian, as I told you earlier, there are still some concerns about the register that will be used to identify voters in this exercise. Some of the people who registered as voters after the 2013 general election are complaining that their names are missing from the register. And the polling officials now tell me they have two registers. One, the 2013 voter register, and also the ODM register, to identify as many people as possible so that they can be able to participate in this exercise. And maybe, Lillian, if you allow me, I can quickly ask Dr. Makobewa how he thinks the exercise is moving. Remember yesterday you were expressing concerns about the process. Are you now satisfied, together with the other aspirants, that now that the poll is underway, that everything is in place to ensure that the people of Kisumu County can be able to make their decision on who will be the flag bearers in the August general election?
Thank you very much, Francis. First of all, I want to say that the voting has started a little bit slow. In some areas, we did have a few problems in the morning where at the dispatch and the distribution, some of the election materials as well as ballot boxes went to the wrong end, but this is now being corrected. It is peaceful so far. People are streaming in. I've been in Mashinani, in Nyakach and Chemelil, and in Moroni and in Nyando. And the crowds are big. We hope that the exercise will go smoothly, and where there are problems, they'll be resolved. One of the major problems we are dealing with at the moment is the amount of ballot materials. For example, in Mamboleo, where we've got in excess of 8,000 or 9,000 registered voters, we only had 1,400 election materials. We are talking to the National Election Board to make these corrections and shortages. Robert Ouko Primary School in Otonglo was missing ballot papers 100%. The boxes came, but the papers were all missing. So we are trying to address these, and I'm hoping that in the next 2 or 3 hours, every polling station will be registering voters.
Some of your colleague aspirants, although for various other seats, parliamentary and civic, are complaining that some of their supporters are missing from the voter registers, or from the registers that are being used to identify voters. Have you maybe, as aspirants, raised this with the Secretary or the National Elections Board, and what are they saying about it?
What we've told the National Elections Board and Bob Arunga and Tom Okongo, the Chief Returning Officer, is that first-time voters whose names do not appear on the IEBC list, and some of them whose names are missing on the IEBC list, which is being used as the reference register as well as the party list, must be allowed to vote using identity cards. You cannot disenfranchise them. It is not their fault that IEBC has not produced an updated list, and we are urging all our voters to turn up, and nobody should be turned away. If you are turned away, let somebody know, so that we can actually insist that people must vote. We cannot have selection. This is an election. So I'm hoping that anybody who has got an ID must be allowed to vote, because it's not their fault, especially young people who are voting for the first time, who need to actually express their democratic right.
Initially, the exercise was cancelled because of security concerns that were raised by the National Elections Board. As aspirants, are you now comfortable with the security arrangements that have been made? Now, after talking to Titus Zioma, the county police commander, he says adequate police officers have been deployed. Are you, as aspirants, satisfied with the arrangements that have been made?
Yes, so far so good. I think every polling station I've visited, there's been armed police on guard, and everybody is working in an orderly manner. We did have some hitches at 5 and 6 in the morning when the materials were leaving because of a little bit of shortages in the rural areas, but I think this is now being addressed. We are hoping that as the day goes by and people continue trooping in, every polling station is going to be manned by a security agent, and we are working with the county commander to ensure that this is done, especially in the evening once counting actually starts. That is when trouble actually starts. But I'm pleased so far with the stations that I've visited.
Thank you very much, Dr. Makobewa. Lillian, that is just one of the main contestants for the gubernatorial position here in Kisumu County. The incumbent Jack Ranguma is voting at Kobura. That's about 40 minutes away from Kisumu town. We will be trying to proceed there to also have his take as he votes. Professor Anyang Nyong'o will be voting in Seme. We're told he will be doing so at around midday or thereabouts. We'll also be trying to make our way there to also hear him and get an opportunity to get a feeling of what he thinks about the entire exercise here in Kisumu County. As I told you earlier, there are 7 parliamentary seats here in Kisumu County, and the race for those ODM tickets is underway, as well as civic seats. And as the day progresses, we should be able to tell you how it is going, and eventually when the counting begins, we'll definitely be able to tell our viewers who is leading and how basically the cookie will be crumbling. Back to you, Lillian.
Thanks for that, Francis Kashiri, coming to us from Kisumu County, and the ODM primaries there are running smoothly, as he has just updated us. Mercy Kandia is in Uasin Gishu County. She's in Eldoret town as we speak, and we of course know from that end that Jubilee Party primaries are currently ongoing there. Oscar Sudi currently casting his ballot, as you can see from the images there, and we want to listen in to how the day is progressing there, Mercy.
Tudunge tu hapa. Tudunge hapa.
Hello, mic check, mic check. Live here in Eldoret in
Mercy, proceed, I can hear you. Okay, Mercy Kandia is coming to us.
Yes,
from
we are live in Uasin Gishu County. A few hiccups here. Yes, we are live in Kapseret sub-county, one of the 6 sub-counties in Uasin Gishu County. Remember, in the morning there are a few hiccups here and there in terms of the nomination process kicking off here in Uasin Gishu County. But just to go straight ahead to what is currently happening in one of the sub-counties, Kapseret, the current seating Member of Parliament, Oscar Sudi, is seeking a second term here as a Member of Parliament. He's just cast his vote, and if you could talk to us, process imekuwa vipi? Naona umepiga kura, kulikuwa na allegations that haijaanza vizuri, but finally it has started. What can you tell us?
Yeah, nataka niseme kwanza asante sana. Kura za Uasin Gishu zimekuwa sawa sawa. Tulikuwa na shida kidogo on Friday, lakini shida imetatuliwa. Ni shida kidogo tu kawaida ya chama, kwa sababu umeona kama Soi, Taribo, lakini hiyo shida tumemaliza. Mimi nataka niseme, nafikiri kuanzia jana vile nomination ya Jubilee imechukua hatua, imeenda vizuri sana, na nataka nishukuru chama kwanza nishukuru officials sote wa chama, na pia nataka nieleze watu wa Uasin Gishu, kwa sababu najua Kenya mzima inaangalia Uasin Gishu. Nataka niwaeleze Uasin Gishu tutamaliza kura kwa njia ya amani leo, na kutakuwa na vurugu au utakuwa na kutata yote. Utata yenye ilikuwa ni kwa sababu makaratasi yake kweko.
Are you certain of a free and fair elections?
Nomination zetu ziko sawa, kwa sababu ukiona kuanzia jana, unajua watu wengi walikuwa nafikiria hata even Alfred Ketera atatangazwa mshindi, lakini leo tukiongea hivi sasa inamaanisha nomination ya Jubilee ni free and fair. That's why Alfred ametoka na Nandi imekuwa vizuri, na Uasin Gishu pia tunataka itoke vizuri.
Thank you very much, Sal. Let you proceed with your day, and all the best with the nomination exercise. There you have it, the current seating Member of Parliament, Oscar Sudi, seeking a second term and telling us that he and probably most of the aspirants here are now certain of a free and fair nomination exercise. Remember, the register that is being used here by the returning officers are telling us is the 2013. However, they are telling residents that if you were registered in 2017 and have the proper documentation, then that also can be allowed in some of the polling stations. However, we will keep you updated in terms of the nomination exercise kicking off here in Uasin Gishu County. Back to you in studio.
Mercy Kandia, many thanks for that update. As you've seen there, Mercy Kandia was just talking to Kapseret Member of Parliament Oscar Sudi. Of course, it is expected that the Kapseret parliamentary seat race will largely be a two-horse race between the incumbent, that is Oscar Sudi, and newcomer Stephen Kewa, and the two, of course, facing off in the Jubilee Party nominations. We're staying with our extensive coverage of the political party nominations across the country. We'll be right back with more. Our guests in studio will continue to give us their insights on developments from various parts of the country as the nomination process goes on. We'll be right back on Citizen Extra.